You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to The Spectral Zone with host Caz Rooney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spectral Zone on Parasearch Radio. I am Caz Rooney, I'm your host, and tonight I'm being joined by Sean and Bex from Ghost Dimension. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, we're really good.
It's so exciting to have you on. Now, I've been looking at stuff you've been doing. You're so busy.
We like to keep busy.
Do you know, we never stop. We always say every day we're either editing, we're filming. If we're not doing that, we're prepping for the next episode. And then you've got to look after the social media and stuff like that. It's just constant. It never ends.
But that's how we like it.
Well, that's a good thing then, isn't it, Bex, if it keeps you busy?
Of course.
Right. I want to go back. I want to start. I'll go to each individually, but I want to go ladies first. So, Bex, what actually got you started in the paranormal?
It was we moved to a house which is quite spooky, and I had my second child.
Yeah.
And we thought, let's do a Halloween party. So Sean said, okay. So we got a free medium off Google, and we thought, you know what, maybe we should venture into this field. Maybe it'd be quite interesting if we could rent out or get a location and get a couple of customers, and do it from there. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
What about you, Sean?
Oh, for me, I mean, similar to Bex, but I mean, with my first experience was when I was a child, and I was in my bed at my mum's house, and that's what got me interested into it.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you about that in a bit if you want. But then we moved over into this house, which is inside of this cemetery.
Yeah.
And like Beck said, we had a psychic evening here on a Halloween night, and then we thought, this is quite interesting. Stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So we decided.
It was the first year.
It was the first year, wasn't it? In this house, and then so we decided to book some venues, and one of the first venues that we booked was Newsham Park Asylum, and just interfering right behind us is the dog, and that's Peggy. Yeah, so we booked Newsham Park, and it was really, really interesting, and we didn't know. We still sometimes don't believe some of the stuff we hear, we see, and feel. But what we enjoyed about this field, and what we still enjoy about it, is the fact that every time you go out there and you investigate, you're constantly learning something new. Or somebody's got a new story as well to tell you. There's always something new happening in the field. So that's the recent version of how we got into it.
Yeah.
But we've always had a keen interest in the paranormal. Me myself is different to Bex, because Bex has had different things happen to her over the past. But I've always had a keen interest in it. And it's not until we got together and then we decided to book these people into the house and do like the seances and stuff here, that we decided, wow, this is quite interesting. Let's dabble in this field and see what we can do with it. And that's how we got into it to start with.
Well, I mean, when you go investigating, is there any set rules that you have? Is it any piece of equipment you won't use, or things that you do when you're going investigating that are set in stone? You have to do them every single time.
Yeah. So when we go to a location to investigate, we never take like the Ouija board with us, because it depends. It's my opinion, Bex's opinion as well.
Yeah.
That sometimes can be influenced potentially by your mind. It's not always a spirit that can influence it, and it's personal preference. We never use it. So anything that can be, that you can, like a pendulum, you can swing it yourself. Yeah. Anything like that you can influence yourself. Yeah. Try and keep away from. Just not. We could be firm believers of it, but if you're watching Ghost Dimension as a show, and you see us swinging a pendulum, moving a glass, doing glass divination, moving a Ouija board, then we could write anything. We could fake it completely, and you wouldn't know if it was real or not real. And so we decided not to use it and only use things that we can, have outside influence, like the REM pods, the K2 meters.
Plus, we used the Ouija board for years with the public. Yeah. And it was that what built our what would you call it? Our belief on it, if you like. Because we were seeing things like somebody's aunt was coming through, and there'd be 4 people connected to that person. And then when we jump on, if we jumped on with the team and just us with the team, it wouldn't work. And we weren't influencing it. We didn't want anything to come through. We didn't want a message, if you like, from the other side, because we wanted it to be genuine. Yeah. And so that's what we said. You know what? We're not going to bring that into the show because of that. Like Sean said, we didn't want anything to be fake on the show, if you like.
Yeah, and there's too many questions around it.
Exactly.
You can't prove,
in our belief, anyway.
You can't prove anything in paranormal.
No,
but
you can't.
Yeah.
There's some things that you think, look, if I'm going to show you something in an investigation, I want to show you something that's going to be really, really good. Yeah. And, using like anything that we can influence is not going to be really, really good. No.
We like to keep it as real as we can on the show. And that's why we like to sometimes we get fans on the show. And if somebody messages us with a location, we'll say we'll come along and be on the show, because we just want to make sure that everybody else gets the same experience that we experience on our shows.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, because I mean, like pendulum and the Ouija board, they're wide open to human error and manipulation from people around it. So I can understand that. But I mean, you guys are in Liverpool. I love Liverpool. Yeah. There's so much history in Liverpool.
So many Scousers.
Where is your favourite place in Liverpool?
Well, location is... Yeah. For me, it's got to be Newsham Asylum. Yeah. Got to be. Yeah. I just love the place. And if we could do an episode there, we would. And we'd do a two-parter.
We've experienced so many things in there. And we've been there probably 7 times in a group of 5. Yeah. And when you're in a small group in that place, things happen. And I remember one capture that we caught on camera, and Bex was upstairs in a psychiatric ward. Psych ward, and the sign was behind you. Yeah. And we heard a pill bottle rattle. Now, the beauty of it was we caught the audio. We did, so we filmed it and caught it. And it was clear as day. So you could have stood there with a pill bottle and just rattled it, and it was like that. And I remember that. But there was also the have you been to Newsham Asylum?
I haven't, no.
Well, there's a place upstairs on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, Naughty Boys Corridor.
Yeah, called the Naughty Boys Corridor. And it's a very small, long corridor, but with very small rooms the size of a man could fit in each room. Yeah. And so there's not much room in there at all, is it? And one of these rooms is a boy that was locked in there. The short story is he was forgotten about, and he died in there. And we took some people around just to explain this to them. And as we were explaining it, we were stood 2 doors away, and this white mist appeared, and it was in front of us all, and we had no torches on us, and it was dark, and we ran, didn't we? We did. We had to run because that was, change your pants time,
Yeah, it was really scary.
It was scary, that.
And then we got lost. Which way do we go?
God, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Find my way back out. We actually have, when I was in Liverpool, we have a mutual friend, and I went on Keith's Ghost Walk.
Is that Keith Braithwaite?
Yeah, Keith Braithwaite.
Yeah.
And St James's Garden. He was doing ghost walks in there at the time.
We just finished editing the episode of that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he actually messaged me the other night and says, "Oh, you've got Sean and Bex on." Well, I remember, guys, give a shout out to Bear, because she's in the chat room. Yeah, Bear Medicine Walker. She's in the chat room.
Oh, we love Bear.
She's really, really good as Bear.
Yeah.
And she helps us out with all sorts of things as well behind the scenes, and she looks after some of the social media stuff for us as well. And she's a fantastic person.
She's a lovely lady, isn't she?
Especially helping us out, because we always have no time to do anything, and so it's good to have the extra person helping us out there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, I mean, you've done so many different locations, but what would be your top 3?
Oh, wow. Have you got
there's a question.
Quick open Amazon. Let me see. God, there's different. I'll tell you what, my top 3 would obviously, Newsham's one, which we haven't filmed that, but that would be there in the top 3. On this series, Walton Hall.
Yeah, Walton Hall was really good.
It was really good. Yeah. And that's in Liverpool as well. And it's a haunted mansion. And it's really, really eerie in there.
Yeah, Skegness was good as well. Open air museum.
The Village Farm.
Yeah, Village Farm. That was really good. It was like a village, and it was different buildings, and each building told a different story. And it was amazing. Sean got touched as well, didn't you? Your leg touched.
Yeah, it was my leg.
And all the REM pods went off at the same time. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That was a spooky location.
Do you have a specific list of places that you really need to go and investigate?
Well,
which list? Like a bucket list?
I'll tell you what, I really, really would love to do some places in America. I really would.
Yeah, got a list in America.
Yeah. I'd really love to fly over.
We've been invited to a few, though.
We have. We have.
We just need to book the flights.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of them are in Florida, and I can't remember the names. But we also want to go to Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, that's it. Yeah. I went there as a kid.
And Waverly Hills.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be able to do that. If we get the opportunity to investigate that and do a show, that's a dream. That'll be a dream come true, that will.
Do you know, we were talking about it the other day, weren't we? We were saying that everybody in America wants to come over to the UK and investigate the places because they're hundreds of years old. And then we want to fly over there because it's warm and there's loads of places to investigate.
Yeah. Now, it's funny you saying that, Sean. We've mentioned this a few times, but I actually came up with an idea, and we've said this a few times on a few shows, but we should do a paranormal house swap where they all just come and stay in our houses and we'll all just go and stay in their houses.
Yeah.
And we can all just wander off.
All we've got to do is just give them, a load of clothes to keep warm because it's freezing over here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We probably need that. Have you had an experience, I'll go to Sean first for this, have you had any experience that has actually put you off investigating?
The only time that I get put off doing anything, I mean, it's you obviously get touched and whatever and you can get a little scratch here and there, but it's not that freaks me or puts me off it. The time that I get put off anything like investigating is when you're on your own and you're quite away from everybody else, and then someone will whisper in your ear, and it'll be quite, you'll get a voice, and I'm not psychic, and I'm not psychic in any way, but you'll hear it, but you when you play it back, you don't capture it on the camera, and you're like, whoa, and it's dark and eerie, and you think, I don't want to do this, because if that can happen in my ear and not be caught on camera, what else can happen? But it's when you get those experiences, the ones that you think, I had that experience, but nobody's ever going to be able to hear that or feel it, because for whatever reason that spirit manipulated just me.
What about you, Bex?
There was one occasion in Tivoli Theatre, and Paul brought this piece of equipment. What was that called?
That was the. It was a necklace.
It's like an amp,
yeah,
sort of thing, and it was where the voices came out, basically, a bit like an.
It was a modified voice box, basically.
Yeah.
And if the words came out of it, they came out really, really clear.
Yeah, and we were in this projectionist room, and there was a fire in there, and this fella died, and the story was being unfolded as we were going along, and as we were investigating that his wife murdered him. And anyway, this box started saying my name, but this gentleman started saying, Bex, save me, help, stay, loan. And we were like, somebody's got to go and do a lone vigil next, and obviously it's going to be me. And everybody on the team was saying, Bex, I think you should do a lone vigil in here. And I was petrified. I was thinking, I don't know what he's going to do to me. Do I remind you of your wife? Yes. And it was spooky. And I think at that moment I thought, you know what, I can go home now, because it was really spooky, because I didn't know what this spirit was capable of.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was going to do, didn't know what he wanted to do, because obviously I reminded him of his wife, who had started this fire and killed him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just...
I can see where you're coming from.
And it was such a small room as well, and the door was sticky and stuff, and so I was like, I'm not going to do a lone vigil in here. I'm stupid.
One location I need to ask you about, 30 East Drive. Now, I spent 3 days in 30 East Drive last August.
Wow.
What is your take on 30 East Drive?
Well, when we arrived...
How did you find it?
When we arrived, it was the first thing that hit us, we had this like a weird pressure on the head, like a headache type thing. Yeah. And when you talk to each other and you go, it's weird coming in here. Mm. And it was, after then, it was quite quiet for a while, wasn't it? It wasn't like instantaneously, I suppose people walk in there and expect it to be like the Poltergeist movie, We're going to start floating around and start spewing up vomit and stuff. But it was weird. And then it was slowly things started to happen. And what we did notice is, obviously the crew started to leave the building while we started the investigation. And when it was just us in the building, then you could hear everything then. And you could hear what was going on. You could hear if there was things happening. It was all right, wasn't it? It was okay. Some of the stuff you still look at, and I mean, we had stuff happen in there, things moving and stuff like that, and you still think, is there a rational reason that it happened? Yeah. You know what I mean? Is it because?
I think you have to.
You've got to.
You have to look at a situation like that and look at a rational side, because you just drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
If you weren't in a museum or anything like that, you would drive yourself. Well, we would drive ourselves crazy, because we go to so many locations. 30 East Drive. It was jam packed, full of stuff. Later on in the evening, especially in the bedrooms, that's where most activity happened. And when we were on the stairs as well, I didn't feel comfortable on those stairs.
But there was a weird thing that happened in there wasn't it? We did that tap. So we did, when you go tap, 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 and then it went
tap, tap, tap in the other room, though. And it just freaked us out, really did.
What I did find in 30 East Drive, equipment's a bit of a problem in there.
Yeah.
It drains quite a lot of equipment. That was driving me absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it did. We had a lot of batteries going on the REM pods in there. So I can definitely vouch for that. But we also charged the atmosphere up with the Tesla machine, didn't we?
Tesla machine, yeah.
You know, so we used that, and that's was firing out electrons into the air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it made the air very dry. But it seemed to, if there was a spirit there, it gave them, fed them the energy to manifest and use their physical spirit energy to start doing stuff in the building.
Mm.
Looking at, I mean, you've done so many locations, like you've said, but looking through your locations, one of them actually kind of jumped out at me, and I'd like you to explain it a little bit for me if you can. When you went to Leeds Library last year.
Oh, it's, yeah.
The ladder.
Flying solo, yeah. Oh, the ladder, yeah.
Yeah. What happened in there with the ladder?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that had happened until the after effects on the review on the edit. But I don't know if this was on the show or not.
Yeah.
Because I've edited so many. But upstairs, in that very same room, there was a flappy thing, to get into the loft.
Yeah.
And there was some stairs, so you could pull down this lever and go up. Which, because we cut a lot of stuff out of the shows, because we have the certain length of time.
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff we cut out. But in that room, when I was in there and the ladder moved, upstairs in the loft, it sounded like someone was walking around. So after I completed that investigation, because I thought, somebody's in here. Somebody's caused this to happen, these noises and stuff that I'm hearing. I went downstairs and I got the staff to go upstairs and I made sure that nobody was there. And I followed them up and nobody was in there. And it was weird. Yeah. And it's just, I think that place has got its own history and its own tales. And it was like the first paranormal investigation in there that's ever been done. Mm-hmm. So it was really good. Didn't expect it to be in there because I think that was like the staff quarters. There was an underground section of the library where these books and artifacts that are hundreds of years old, and I thought that might be the hotspot, but it wasn't. It was upstairs. And then in the attic thing, which we didn't film in because it was for health and safety, I actually thought somebody was in there. I thought somebody was in there taking the mick.
Yeah.
Trying to interfere, make it haunted and whatever. There was nobody there.
Wow.
Really weird.
Wow. Is there anywhere at all you wouldn't actually go and investigate? Is there anywhere you'd say, no, that's out of bounds, I wouldn't touch that?
That place we watched on the telly last night. No, we watched, there's a series on the telly at the moment called True Horror. True Horror, yeah.
Oh, and I've heard about it. I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Yeah. And it was a place where it was a woods in Sussex, East Sussex or somewhere like that, and it was a church called the Doomsday Church, I think. And it just looked terrifying. Terrifying. We did say in the movie, so we're never going there.
Places, what was it? Italy.
France. Which one? Oh, God, yeah. The Japanese invited us over to a place in... where was it now?
We had to travel by boat. And
we had to travel by a boat to this island.
Nobody would come with us because it's deemed to be...
It was a word. I think Zach Baggins has been there, actually.
I think,
yeah. And it was like... It was terrifying. It was terrifying. I know they sent us
what it was called. Paul would know.
Paul would know. They sent us this island to visit, and we refused because it was they wanted to lock us on there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And we were like, I don't think so. That was it. And if you go on it, you got cursed. It was an island. And if you went on it, and anybody that steps foot on this island gets a curse.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, and you were pregnant at the time.
I was pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, not doing it.
I'm sure it was in Italy. It was near Italy.
I think it was Italy, yeah. I think so.
Near Italy.
Is it Palavia?
Yes.
Yeah. That one, yeah.
That was the one.
That looks kind of creepy, actually. They sent everyone there to die, really, didn't they?
That was it, yes, yeah.
That was it. And we were
everyone who had the plague and whatever gets sent over there.
Yeah, but she said there was a curse as well on there, so we were like, we're not heading over there then. So, but it was just too much, especially when she said we had to go over by boat and we wouldn't be picked up till the next day.
We were like,
yeah, right. There's no way of getting off here. Like, because there's normally an exit.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I can understand that. I mean, my place would be the Island of Haunted Dolls. I'm not a fan of dolls. I don't like dolls.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they just creep me out. That's just creepy. But as well, I mean, you have got so many places you've investigated. I'm looking through this and going, oh my God, I've got so many places I can ask you about. But everyone can see your shows on Amazon, can't they?
Yeah, so you can see, if you're in the UK, you can see all the series from 1 to 3 on Ghost Dimension, the main series, on Amazon, 1 to 4 on Ghost Dimension Flying Solo, if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 at the moment. And then down the line, over the next month or two, we may be able to release the episodes, because at the moment we're in talks with a different network about the episodes, so we're keeping them as an exclusive for them.
Wow. I was actually looking at footage today and it was actually you talking away, Sean, but there was actually a face of a man. It was Abbey House Museum in Leeds.
Oh, God.
That looks, you can see the face in the window, but you're talking away totally oblivious to it.
Yeah, that was the intro to the show as well, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Now, the beauty of that place was that we film all the shots. So I think we included this in the footage, the press put out there, but we filmed all the shots prior to the show, and that face wasn't there. But when we played it in the edit, as we slow it down as well, it's like it stepped back at one point. It's like a slight step back and then forward. And we were like, geez. So that was weird. But I went up in that room and I investigated that, and I can confirm there was nobody in there. And it's off limits to the public as well, because it was like have you been there before?
No.
It's you can't go upstairs into this room because all the stuff's really old and it's not a public access place. But it was really weird. That was really weird.
Have you guys ever been to Ancient Ramen?
No,
and you know what? I don't really. It doesn't appeal to me. No. I don't know. What do you think, Bex? Does it appeal to you?
It never really has appealed to me, to be honest. I know lots of people love it and they've been there.
We've heard so much about it. People having good stories, people having negative stories. I've seen somebody recently went and they didn't have any activity. Yeah. And I think, has it been dried out?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it was just an off day for the people that have been there. But I don't know. Have you been?
I went last November. It did start off quiet, but then it kind of picked up as the evening went on.
Oh, maybe it's worth a visit then.
Maybe it's worth a visit.
Yeah. Because we heard some really weird, and terrifying things that have happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I remember it was a lady called Norrie Miles was telling us about it. She was, people were really scared that went with her, and we were investigating. But if anybody goes recently that's listening, let us know. It's haunted still, and we may go.
Thing I wanted to ask you, working in the paranormal field, obviously you know lots and lots of different people. But do you enjoy collaborating with other investigators and working with other investigators?
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all the time. We do. We off screen. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that phone and speak to us weekly, daily. People in the industry, people on the television, they phone us and speak to us. And people in investigation groups phone us as well. And we've been out with investigation groups, and we've been out with West Yorkshire Paranormal. We've been out with Spook Seekers. We film with them, and we don't mind doing it, because we're there, we're open, and if they're there and they want to invite us along, and we'll film with them, The last people we didn't film, but we went and visited them as they were investigating was it North Notts Ghost? I think it was called North Notts Ghost Hunting, and they went to a place called Mill Street Barracks in St. Helens. So we went there, and we filmed there in the past, haven't we? Not for Ghost Dimension, but for a different series. But we filmed there, and it's a nice place. It's good. It's changed since we filmed. It's it's a lot different, but it looks different. The ghosts are still there, but definitely it's a good place.
Getting serious for a little bit, Bex, do you think that when you're working with other paranormal people, we're all learning from each other? We can all learn different things.
Of course, it's like life in general. You always take something from an experience. You always learn from somebody else. And I totally agree with that. If we go with a different group, you think, oh, you know what, that's good. We'll use it on the show. And, there's plenty of things that I've been doing on the show that I've taken from...
You stolen.
Ideas. Like, we all learn. Like I said, we do all learn from...
We all steal from each other. Yeah.
Well, Sean steals from me all the time. Never gives anything back, especially phone charges.
That's not good.
And my high heels, let's not go there.
No, don't go there. No.
Look, I'm borrowing them later.
So, what do you guys have planned for the rest of this year? What kind of exciting things are you going to be up to?
We're going to Alton Towers next week, and then McDonald's week after.
Really?
No, I'm joking. No.
We'd like to travel. We would like to travel. That is definitely one of the big things on our list.
Yeah.
Number one things on the list is to travel and hopefully get out there to America. At some point and go around these locations that people have sent us and make a GD series out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely in the cards, isn't it? Because it's there. We've got the demand for it.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing stopping us right now is just finding the right flight and going over there.
Yeah.
And that's it. Literally, that's the only thing that's stopping. And sorting out the accommodation for the timings and where we're going to go and film. But that's what we're doing. The rest of this year, we're going to continue as well, making more shows. We film every week, don't we?
Yeah, every week.
So there's going to be more stuff going on Amazon Prime then?
Oh,
eventually.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we like, I think we're like 4 months worth of material behind, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
there's lots more.
Whoops. There's
lots
more
to come.
Wow. So out this year, might not be able to answer this yet because maybe not released it yet, but have you got a favourite location you've done this year?
Oh, that's a tough one. Sean will obviously have more locations.
God, yeah,
So far then, have you got a favourite one so far this year?
I liked did two really. I liked Walton Hall, which is out already, and one which isn't out, which is Magpie Mines that I did for Flying Solo, which was a fantastic place. I did it the other week. That was a really, really good investigation. And we've got coming up the Harry Potter looking place that we just did.
Yes, that's a good one. We did a location last week, and it is a fantastic looking place. Small, but very active. Very, very active.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was very surprising, wasn't it?
It was very surprising. Some of the things that I was picking up on, I'm no medium at all, but some of the things that names I was coming up with, the owner of the place was saying, well, that used to be this person, and he died this way, and the other person used to be, he was a tree surgeon, he used to look after the garden and stuff. I was like, really? So it was weird. The equipment as well, the obvious was coming out with words that I couldn't place at the time, and then I told the owner, and he was like, well, that makes sense because of this scenario. Mm-hmm. And so it was a small one, but it was good. It was packed full of paranormal activity.
And he wouldn't let us film him, would he, at the end?
No,
because we had to film one of the people that goes to the place, but the evidence that we got, he was like, oh yeah, that's this person, they came here and that was their partner, blah blah blah, and we're like, oh, this is amazing. Do you mind if we just roll on you then? And he was like, oh no. I'm like, oh. You know when you're like, this is gold.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, people are just gonna be like, yeah, but it really did happen.
Yeah.
You know. So it's really good.
Do you guys actually research places before you investigate them, or do you just rock up and see what happens?
Rock up, to be honest, because
I prefer rocking up.
Yeah, I don't like to have any sort of knowledge in my head.
Yeah.
Apart from the VTs that I do at the beginning, where it says a little bit of the information.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it. That's all I know. Because, if you get some, like the last location we did, if you get something in your head, you know it's there for a reason.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Paul on the team finds most of the locations that we go to.
Yeah.
And, because we do go to a load of locations, to store so much into your mind about each location, you forget,
Yeah.
And so we just rock up, like Beck says, and just crack on.
Have you ever this is a thing I actually like to do, but I like to just grab my camera and my torch and take off sometimes and find places that people really wouldn't go to. It could be derelict, it could be a graveyard, it could be... do you do things like that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. Obviously, we don't film it, but we do it. We've done it where we live. And there's a church where we live, and it's derelict, and we've not been inside, but we've been one time on the outside of it, and we were tapping on the door.
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we tapped on it, and it tapped back, and we were sure there's somebody inside.
Yeah, we sure.
You did, didn't we? Before, yeah. It must be like somebody sleeping inside.
Maybe there was.
Weird. What are you taking a picture of me for?
Cleavage.
She just took a picture of my cleavage, apparently.
Oh, she's going to hold that against you for something.
She is.
That's going out on Blue.
This is what happens.
She'll be like, "This is going on the website if I don't get these shoes."
I like it.
Oops, I've given her an idea then. Anyway,
I'm just about to take a picture of her cleavage and we'll post it.
Equipment-wise, do you have an absolute favourite that you can't go without? Mine's is EVP. I won't go anywhere without my EVP recorder.
Yeah, we like that as well.
You do that.
I like the singing bowl. Really,
yeah.
I haven't used that at all on this series, but I do. That's one of my all-time favourite pieces of equipment. Because every time I use it, something happens. What would you be yours?
Me, I like sometimes not to take anything at all. But if I do have to take anything, it's a REM pod.
Yeah.
Because it just gives me that audible and visual alert if there's anything that comes, near it. And the touch torch sometimes. Torch, but then it can be influenced by, different things on the outside if you're not in the right conditions. So, but the REM pod, for sure.
Yeah.
I do love that.
What is your take on EMF? Because some people believe that if it's a really high EMF, some people can be badly affected by it and hear things, see things. Do you think that's a fact? Do you think that's true?
It's documented that can happen. Whether or not that affects everybody, it is a personal thing to each individual person. If you live in like a house and there's a lot of power cables above your head and maybe you're seeing things because it's interfering with your brain waves, potentially, but then if Joe Smith walks into your house and sits there and doesn't see anything and you're seeing these things, then maybe they've got a higher tolerance. But then if they start to see things and there's no EMF, for example, and you don't see anything and they do, then that sort of goes to disprove it. So I think it could be quite personal for different people, but it's definitely a fact that it can influence people. But then again, like I just said, it could be on a balance.
I don't know if you've come across this situation before. I've come across this situation, funnily enough, in Liverpool. And I was with 3 other people, and 2 of us, I'm an empath and a sensitive, and the lady who was next to me was an empath and sensitive, the other 2 weren't. But we walked into this graveyard and it was like we couldn't walk any further. Have you ever gone to a location and just thought, no, I can't go in there. I can't do that.
It's Drakelow.
Drakelow tunnels.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We walked. Yes, we remember that we were walking down the tunnels, and then we just thought, you know what, we can't go any further.
When you hit that
barrier.
barrier.
There's like a barrier.
It's like a glass wall gets put right in front of you, and you can't step any further ahead to go further in.
Drakelow tunnels.
Drakelow tunnels.
What did you do? What did you do when it happened?
We turned back.
So did we.
Slowly moved away.
We just kind of went, well,
it was
the other two people walked ahead, and they're like, come on, and we're like, we can't. So we just turned back and went out.
But we turned back, and we was walking away, and then we heard whistling and keys jangling like it was a janitor, and we were like, okay, and then we stood like far away from where we didn't want to go, and we were calling out, and we got some brilliant evidence. Wow. We didn't go past that point, but we got some brilliant evidence.
Have you came across dark energies? I mean, you've done that many places. You've got to come across something that was quite dark and.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
We
did come across quite, Drakelow.
Drakelow, we did come.
We
yeah.
Really did the base
some
of
weird
there.
noises.
That was, I would say, borderline demonic. You know, it was weird that. One thing just popped into my mind. I'll mention it later, and it was just weird. But I would also say there was something weird at the Village Farm Open Air Museum.
Yes, of course, yes. Especially the White Cottage. You'd go in and you touch the sticks in the corner, and it wasn't nice at all. The atmosphere just changed from pleasant, to dark, and get out, get away. Because as we were walking around, shot of Paul's SLS camera. I think we had a medium on that night as well, and he said there was a hanging in the hallway.
In the White Cottage.
Yeah, and somebody was standing next to the body hanging, and when Paul was doing his investigation in the White Cottage, he caught on his SLS this person hanging from the roof, and this other person standing on the stairs, and so we were like, okay, that's not coincidence at all. That's definitely 100% paranormal.
Yeah, that was.
And that was dark in there.
I don't know if you guys have done it before or if you have in the past, but if people actually came to you and says, we're having trouble in our houses, can you come and help us out with this, please?
Yeah, quite a few times.
They do. They contact the page.
Yeah.
But what we do
is
we redirect them, to
maybe
either a spiritualist church or to a paranormal investigation group that can come straight out. That I remember there was a case in Chester.
Yeah.
That was I think that was the last one, maybe. I think it was. And we redirected them when they were sending us videos of stuff moving in the house, the doors opening and stuff. Because for two reasons. One is because it's quicker for them to go somebody local, to come and see.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if there's kids involved and stuff like that, you need, people that have, because you could invite anybody in, couldn't you? You could just, you need to make sure you go to, because I wouldn't invite just random people into my house.
No.
I'd need to vet them out. So, I mean, just because you've seen us on the television or whatever, doesn't mean we're not going to be maniacs walking through your door, because we're raving mad lunatics, when we turn up at location. But, no, but you know what I mean. For safety, but
it's
also
just for safety. Our safety, their safety. Sort of.
Yeah.
And convenience for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, at all the places you've investigated all over the place. You've done so many different things. You've done TV. What do you enjoy doing the most?
Oh wow! I enjoy just going out with the people on the team, the crew, and. As well, we sometimes just going out having a nice meal, and then we going out for an investigation, which we do sometimes, which we don't film, and we just go out for a laugh. And most of the time that happens, it's a pre-investigation where we're gonna go and check a location out before we investigate it and film it. And I enjoy doing that.
I love. I do as well. I love going out, and I like it to be very relaxed, and I like to go into a location and just basically film away, have a good time. We're not serious behind the scenes. We do have a laugh, and that's when we find out. The most things happen is when we're having a laugh and chilling out. We catch more evidence that way.
Oh, do you know you've just walked straight into my next question?
What was the question?
Right, I'll start with you, Sean. What's the funniest thing that's happened on location?
Oh, but something's rude.
Well, the show's marked as explicit, so it's okay.
Is that explicit? No,
Yeah.
My boobs popped up. No, it's not really, really bad. When you get squeezed on the bum by a ghost or a spirit, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you think to yourself, oh, right, and I've got to explain that on camera. And then there was one time that I felt something touch my private parts.
Yeah.
And so normally you go, oh my God, just been touched on the balls or whatever. And I go, oh, something just touched my leg, my inner thigh. Just grab my willy. It's just tried to grab my willy. And then you think to yourself, well, it happens. But if we put that on the television, we just look like a bunch of crazy lunatics. But with those sort of things, especially when we sit there in the edit, we giggle, don't we?
There was one time when I was,
I'd
gone the whole show, and I had this vest top on. Nobody told me it was see-through.
Yeah. They didn't
done a
tell
whole
you.
show. Yeah, it's out there on Amazon. And you can see my bra.
Which episode was it?
I'm not telling you.
I'm going to put that on tonight.
And you didn't even tell us, Sean?
No one told me.
Do you know what it is? It's because I wasn't filming.
You were filming.
And
you were up behind the camera.
I wasn't. Well, maybe it just looked good.
Because Paul wasn't there.
Well, I was.
Well, he has no words, has he? He has no words.
He has no excuses.
I'm shipping off.
Oh dear. You'll be in trouble now. When you finish the show now, Sean, she's going to show you and go, look, see? Do you see this?
Which episode was it?
I'm not telling you.
That's going to bother him now, Bex.
Well, I know it is, isn't it?
Well, it'd be good. Maybe somebody's on the forum later and they can say, look, it was... Yeah, that infrared's really good for seeing through clothes. So it is a word of warning.
When we used to do the public investigations,
yeah,
I always used to be the one with the camera. I always used to go around first and take the camera around. Like you said, you take yourself off with a torch and a camera and go around. Well, I used to do that on public investigations. And I used to, the amount of times that I'd only be able to pan from head to waist, because the amount of women that used to wear leggings to investigations, and they were see-through. I could see through. I could see the knickers. I said the show because we then used to edit them and put them on YouTube back in the day, and we just couldn't use some of the footage because of the leggings issue.
Yeah, and some people, you will not believe, investigate with no knickers on, so you can imagine what that looked like.
Really?
You are, yeah.
God, what these people are thinking.
Do you actually miss doing public investigations?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we do.
It's because it was the collectiveness of the people, the people around you. It was fun, and that's why we go on these guest investigations.
Yeah.
When we like North Knots and stuff like that.
Yeah. We've
been with Pitch Black investigations and some others. So yeah, it's fun, but we really enjoy the filming because it's a small crew and it's a laugh at the same time.
It is, yeah.
And you get to meet some lovely people, don't you?
You do, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So we've actually been talking for nearly 50 minutes. So tell everybody, how do you plan to bring paranormal evidence to everybody? What is the goal? What's your ultimate goal?
That's a tough one.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Most Haunted already did it the other month. they filmed it, didn't they, down the corridor? I'm sorry, I know I should have said it.
That's okay.
Yeah. No. Do you know, if we can capture the full-bodied apparition, obviously that's the ultimate, isn't it? The Holy Grail. But you know what would be even more interesting than that? Is if we could capture this full-bodied apparition. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, we'll have a conversation with it and sit down with it and say, look,
what's the afterlife like?
Give us the insight of the afterlife. Maybe one day that'll happen.
Hopefully. The only thing we can do is just strive to do what we do best and carry on.
Yeah, and you know what? Just
keep calm and carry on.
Capture. Yeah, keep what?
Keep calm and carry on.
I like it.
Yeah,
Keep
calm and carry on.
Or keep paranormal and carry on.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, does it?
There you go. You've got a new slogan.
Keep calm and carry on, ghost hunting. Yeah.
That actually works, Bex.
It does, doesn't it? There you go. I have a fan.
You have a new slogan. Is it anything at all that scares you?
Sean in the morning.
It's my hair in the morning. And you know what happens, right? She wakes up and she sees my pearly white teeth and she goes, ah! Because it's pitch black in the room.
The bedside lamp. Anything that really scares me is a demonic presence. I don't like stuff like that. I really don't. I try and see the good in everything, even if it's a nasty spirit. I try and find out why the spirit's nasty. Is he just annoyed? Is he annoyed the way he passed? Has he got business that he never finished? I try and find that out. I don't like demonic sort of stuff.
Yeah,
it freaks me out too much.
I don't like witchcraft. Can't stand it.
No. Sean's got a few tales to tell about that.
I mean, I won't go into them because we've been talking for 53 minutes or something like that.
That's okay.
Look at the time. Yeah,
you're just waiting to go on your stag do. You're just dying for this stag do.
He's starting to drink tonight.
I will, after this show, I'm going to go and grab one of my little cheeky beers and have that. But what was I just saying before that? Is the witchcraft. The witchcraft stuff. Paul's a sneaky sod, and he keeps booking in locations where there's witchcraft. And what happens is there's always a problem. It's either technical or mechanical with the car. So it's either something wrong with the cameras or the car. So we went to Pendle Hill in Manchester. It was fantastic investigation. It all went smooth. It got really, really late. We said, should we finish filming? All the crew decided they were going to leave. They did. And we said, let's just do one more. Let's go off. Let's drive up this road in the middle of these hills and do one more. We got in the car, and the car wouldn't go into gear. And we're like, oh. And so we tried everything. It wouldn't go into gear. We had to get a recovery agent out, and they couldn't understand what was wrong with it. The next day, it got taken away by... we got home, obviously, but we got taken away by the engineers. And they phoned me up and they said, we couldn't find the reason for the clutch failing on the car.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I can't find it. It just won't work. So we've had to put a brand new one on. We're like, oh, this is them witches, isn't it? You know? So it was, I'm telling you, it was. And then we went to this other place, which was a stone circle. And it had occult practices and stuff there, and witchcraft. And then again, we had problems with the car. As soon as we got into the car, it wouldn't start. I'm like, my car can't be that bad, And the theme is, every time there's witches, something happens on location. And so I can't stand, if there's witches, I think I nearly, decided at one point I was just going to turn around and drive away,
It was quite bizarre. I mean, I wasn't there on the Pendle Hill. But the some of the crew had backaches, really bad backaches, to the point where they couldn't get out of bed the next day. Sean banged his head on the boot.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, everybody was getting injured. They were all coming home like injured soldiers that early hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Pendle Hill's one of my favourite places.
Do you know what? It was
honestly.
Really... I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. And I was in the woods, in these woods at one, and some weird stuff was going on. You know what I mean? I'm talking like to the point where I said to the crew, I said, look, you must stay within 50 metres of me. So if I need to run out of here, at least there's somebody there, Yeah. And there was stuff happening, and it was just like, right, okay, this is weird. But it was within like meters of you, and you're like, there's somebody walking around me, you could feel it wasn't good. But it was a nice place, and it was very active, but it's a bloody those witches.
I find that funny. It could have just been spirit, Sean. Come on.
Well, it could have been, but if it was, they were just evil. They were evil.
Messing with your car.
Yeah. The next time I see them, I'm gonna smash a face in.
You're just trapped here, and that's it.
I'm just gonna leave my car and walk out. Just so it's already broken down. You're like, there it is. Do what you like.
Okay, last big question for you. I'll start with Bex. Bex, have you ever been in a situation where you felt you've had to be confrontational back with a spirit on location?
There's been a few on a different show. On Ghost Dimension.
Yeah.
Not so many, I don't think. Can't think of any times where I've had to sort of be confrontational to a spirit back. No, I can't think of any. Have you got any?
No, because what we've always done
we
with
respect
this
it's a lot of respect.
It's just respect, isn't it? So even if it's a nasty witch or an evil demon or whatever it is, or just a nice old lady, ghost, or whatever spirit, we're just respectful, and that way we found that
more things happen.
Yeah, all the time, constantly.
If you get them to trust you, then you'll get the reaction.
Yeah.
It's just like the activity.
It's like the living, isn't it?
Yeah.
Show the living respect, they'll show you respect. I suppose it's the same thing.
Because we've walked into places when we did Past Hunters, for example.
Yeah.
We've had people in the crew shouting, screaming, off camera, and the place has been flat then.
Yeah,
and it's like
it drains the atmosphere, doesn't it?
If you're a spirit and you're in a building and somebody comes in and starts swearing at you and shouting at you, you're not going to respond. You might do, but nine times out of 10, you're not going to respond at all. So,
one of my personal pet hates is when you're doing EVPs, and you're asking people ask questions, but they don't leave enough time for a response.
Yeah,
they just expect them to answer like that.
Yeah, it's true that.
Do you have a pet hate? Is there one thing that really drives you nuts?
Ooh. What in what respect? Like
in investigations, have you seen things and you've just thought, no, you're doing that wrong?
Oh,
don't do it like that.
People's.
Yeah.
When other people do it, we learn off them. It's
a different way of doing things, I suppose.
Yeah.
We went with one group and they would do it. I think they were doing a human pendulum.
Yeah.
And they were doing it differently than we would do it, and they weren't getting results at all. But we were just guests, so we didn't really, step on the toes.
Yeah.
We just watched. But it is a little bit of a pet hate, going into somewhere and seeing somebody do something a bit different.
But then, it might be the best way to do it.
Exactly, yeah. It might be the best way. As for pet hate, I don't think we've really got any. I don't think I've got any.
No, I don't think I've got any. And not. And if you do get like a little irritantly small thing that happens, you forget. It's because
you do forget.
If we forget.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You know what? One of my pet hates is when Paul gets the the boom in shot.
Yeah.
And we come to edit.
If you're listening, Paul,
you've just been told off.
St. James's Cemetery, you're getting a slap tomorrow.
Oh, bless.
In fact, you're fired.
Right, guys, we're coming to the end of the show, so you have a minute. Tell everybody about Ghost Dimension. Tell them where they can see it.
I'll tell you what, I'll let Sean do this bit.
Yeah.
You can see, you can see it on Amazon Prime. So if you're UK based, you can watch it. If you're US based, you can watch it. If you're Germany based, you can watch it. If you want to watch it you're on a television network, if you're in Europe, you can watch it. You can watch it on the television network in Europe.
Yeah.
It's free to watch on Amazon Prime, and all the time that we can make it free, which will be all the time, it will be free to watch. And you know what? It's just a fun show to watch. It's something different. And we go out there and we try our best to bring you the best in paranormal evidence that we can on every episode. And we'll tell you what we do as well, though, while you're listening. All the stuff that, people say, oh, well, where's this and where's that? we have to cut these shows right down. So if an investigation was an hour long for a certain part of a building, it's chopped right up so you get the best bits. So it might look like stuff happens constantly in a certain segment, but we've just cut it right down so it looks fantastic for you, and just cut the boring bits out. And if you want to see the boring bits and nothing happens, so tune in, watch it for free. And if you got social media, Facebook or whatever, we're on there as Ghost Dimension. You can see all the updates that we put out there on the latest shows.
And you're on Twitter as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we need some followers on there because we're really...
Have you got a website?
We have. It's ghostdimension.co.uk. That's the website, and we sometimes update the blog on there and stick some pictures. We've got we've got Instagram, but the Twitter, if you've got Twitter, follow us because we feel like a tumbleweed.
I think I've got you on Twitter. Have I got you on Twitter? I'll check after the show.
We've got like 400 followers, I think, on Ghost Dimension on Twitter, and like on Facebook, it's like I think it's 12,000. We're like Twitter. Maybe I'm just not tweeting the right tweets. I have no idea. But
I don't get Twitter, to be honest with you.
I don't know how to use it, to be honest. I'm not very socially savvy.
But we're there. You know, we're socially available. And we'll always get back to you. So if you do message us, we'll always get back to you. And if you email through the website, we always get back to people. And it will always be us that get back to you.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, it just remains for me to say, please remember that if you missed any shows, you can get them on Podbean, you can get them on SoundCloud, you can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter. So you're not going to miss anything. Make sure you follow all the shows. Go and look them up. Look on YouTube. They're all on YouTube as well. We're absolutely everywhere. Sean and Bex, thank you so much for coming on and speaking to us. Please keep up the good work. Do you want to say good night, guys?
Night, guys.
Good night. Enjoy. And God bless.
God bless.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.